Welcome back, everybody, to game two between Knights of the Second Dinner and Stun Gaming Nebula. Stun Gaming Nebula will opt for that that blue side here. But I mean, looking at a quick little synopsis of last game there, it was a bit of a slobber knocker there for the Knights, as they do get that very nice little easy victory on Stunned. So kind of curious to see what Stunned are going to do here, what their priority pick is, since they did opt for that blue side. But like, yeah, last game, I mean, it was a little rough. I mean, they never really pulled off that Wukong Ori combo, as we talked about. So the team fights didn't quite go the way they wanted. And bot lane and mid lane kind of got down like really, really bad early. So that scaling team fight didn't really come to fruition.
Two of us were talking during the break about a bit about what we want to see for the draft, and we were talking a bit about the bot lane for Stun Gaming, and we want them to have champions that give them more opportunities to shine. So when I look at Doku's most played champions, I do see these long range pokey champions. Caitlyn, Varus are the highest up so far in their play rates this season. So I'd love to see them have the opportunity to play one of those champions. Maybe is their time playing the bot lane and hopefully pick something that's stifling enough that Bandit can't run with the game again, and maybe even buy a bit more space for Baby Panda, because Baby Panda last game did great. So in the 1v1, obviously the champion pick in Mordekaiser isn't the champion you necessarily expect to be the most one versus five champion in the game, so we can give them a bit of grace there. But I think you can gain a bit of confidence there. Lock in something like the Ambessa, like a potentially a Mundo. Obviously Mundo draft is very specific, but something that can be more dominant if you get a lead, and try and make something happen there. We're going to the bans. We see so far relatively similar bans to last game. I do distinctly remember the Fizz Ivern bans being handshaked. Both teams clearly very comfortable banning those champions. I don't think um, they play what they're banning at all here. Just check that. That is
Yeah,
absolutely
it's the
correct.
same band.
So
I don't really see anything wrong with the bands. I think it's just
yeah, we should
that
see
Poppy
very
pick blind is a little bit rough. Like if you flexed it top, it would have been a lot better, like we talked during the break. But like it's mostly kind of like low key. It was kind of a bit of a draft diff, mostly because like, you got a losing bot lane, you got a losing mid, and then top lane. It's kind of like it's winning, but like you're not really getting those crucial targets here. So the only change from Stun Gaming, they do ban away that Corki instead of the Varus. So I expect to see. Oh no, never mind. Knights ban
Yes.
away the Varus. So the
Yeah,
only
that's
thing that's open
for
is Sivir. So Stun might look to first pick that Sivir.
or Kalen based on comfort. I mean, that's one that's been banning the virus, I imagine. But yeah, Sivir certainly being a bit more of a meta pick, so to speak. But honestly, yeah, that's what I want to see. Screw the meta. Play what you're good at. Sometimes you just need to say, I will place down those traps and I will mind control my opposition and walk into it. That's what you should do. Paired with something like a Morgana, maybe, if you want to go absolutely old school.
Oh,
Just do
let's
that. Just do what you need
check
to
out
do.
the
I
check.
like it.
Let's
I want
see
I
what
want
they
to see.
play here.
Yeah,
Because yeah, Papa Skip doesn't
Jin.
play any of those. He mostly plays Engage. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Ooh, Jin. Jin is that kind of like that old school
Okay.
counter here. So playing that little caster ADCs do counter Caitlyn a little bit there. So let's see what Knights look for that pick in the second pick. And it's gonna be a Vi. So right now, lots of just meta staple things coming out from both teams so far. Well,
We
for
have the
Knights.
arcane duo split apart by fate and draft so far as well. Every single one of these champions has been into Piltover, so we've got a little bit of a regional game happening here. So now what do I want to see here? I want to see more Piltover champions. I guess we could have Zon too.
Let
Zon's
me let
close
me
enough.
let me get Jace R3 here. Jace
Yeah,
R3. Love to see
JSR3.
it. Because
Oh,
actually, like
come
Loki,
on, that's not Piltover.
omitting Arcane, I think Jace R3 is not that bad. Like you have Jin and you have anything that you pair with Jin, like if you get some long range poke, Jin is pretty much just going to be like a long range engage bot, and you have Vi immediately following up on top of it. So Stun Gaming, they're kind of going a little off the rails here with the Caitlyn Mumu pick, uh, B1, B2 respectively. He doesn't look like he plays Mumu, but I mean it's a Mumu. It's not that too complicated there. And they're going to lock in that Ari pick here. So ninth, let's see if they reciprocate with that mid lane pick here. So but overall, Sun Gaming kind of playing a little bit on the rails here, kind of picking just whatever, some comfort stuff right now.
Amari, with Amari, they are breaking your classic rule of AD AP split on jungle mid, but of course that is kind of worked around by the fact that Amumu's passive, of course, gives magic reduction. In addition, some of Ari's kit is true damage, was true damage of
Whoa.
the despair stacks, but Mel counter. Okay, Mel's actually quite a good pick here. Obviously. This team has gone through quite a few changes recently, but rebuttal W still on that champion, which means they are still just inherently good against Caitlyn. If you're able to time it with the headshot passive of Caitlyn, or Caitlyn's ultimate, or Caitlyn's Pilt of Peacemaker, or Caitlyn's net, it just counters Caitlyn's entire kit. It's a good pick there. In addition, you have the ability to counter the bandage toss on a Mumu, as well as Ari's entire kit. Right, obviously, if you can or blast back a charm and make Ari fall in love with you instead, you're really having a good time. So that feels like a very solid pick. Also does pair decently well with the Vi for that early skirmishing. You have Vi's ability to kind of like CC them for just long enough for you to root them yourself. And as well, your Q's ability to basically guarantee a hit, though that has been changed. They made it a little bit trickier to land, but it's still a very consistent skill shot that Jin can take advantage of to land the root on his W, as well as follow up with his ultimate, of course. So far, looking like a bit of a repeat of first game. Nice second dinner drafting a fairly a draft that looks like it works well together. Well,
Whoa.
Stun Game Nebula being a bit disconnected, it seems, at the draft stage,
That's
anyways.
a instant lock Thresh. Oh, he
Yeah,
plays a lot of Thresh actually. So it is a bit of a takeaway also. For
exactly.
me, I'm a Thresh main. I love Thresh. You can literally play Thresh into anything. If Thresh is on point, can also deny the Mumu engage. So curious to see what Stun Gaming pick. Like Loki, I kind of want to see them pick Morgana. It doesn't look like um Papa Skips is comfortable on it, but they're gonna pick
Oh,
Sona. Wow,
okay.
I haven't seen. Okay, so now Stun Gaming, they're just going completely off the rails. They're just
Okay,
going
listen,
like,
so
ooh,
so you're a thresh maid. Well, I don't have hands, so Soda has been my one trick in a rank this last season because turns out this champion in solo queue is just absurd. And it's just a champion that is remarkably consistent, as well as the fact that it has a low player base, meaning and also the abilities get relatively unsatisfying. So Riot tends to keep Sona's numbers quite high, both from the damage and healing fronts. In addition, this champion has generally benefited from some of the new items this season. So I've got lots I can talk about this champion. So we'll both get we'll both have a support. We can say lots about in this game, which will be fun for us both, I'm
so
sure.
like,
Renekton comes in last pick, finish the draft. So Renekton and Mumu do actually work relatively well together, mostly because they both allow each other to get on top
oh
of
wow,
their target of choice. But I was talking about a Mundo draft. This is a Mundo draft. You're up against a composition with a lot of CC, but not that much damage. Um, and you are going to be that single-handedly the front line for your comp. So we'll see if Baypan is able to repeat the performance that they were able to pull off last game, but I don't expect it because Mundo, if played properly and conservatively, is a champion that uh, is basically impossible to shut down once you get to that mid to late phase. You really have to do it early. So expect Ignite from Renekton.
yeah, I like to see Ignite. Honestly, I like to see Loki like a little like a crazy, a little hot take here. Teleport Ignite.
Mm.
Just because Renekton is so mobile with the slice and dice, because with Renekton's, most of the time you'll do like 2 to 3 points in Q, and then you'll start maxing E or W. A game like this, I'd probably do E max second, but that low key, that's probably the play here, honestly. Like, because Renekton, he's gonna get outscaled like crazy. He's gonna kind of fall off a cliff a little bit later on against the Mundo, because Mundo can kind of just Q farm forever. But like stunned, they have a. I really like their comp, honestly. Like they have a great team fight comp here. But if any of them get picked, if any of them get hit with the CC, it's a little rough. So with Stun Gaming, they have their early game is a lot better this time around. So I kind of want to see Grummy kind of look around the map to look for these early leads for his team so they can kind of snowball a little bit here. Because last game, I mean, they kind of just got bled out. They were just getting stomped in the lane, so they couldn't really assert their will upon anything. Like they came back with a couple small fights here, but Stun, I mean, they have a good early game composition, so I really want to see them leverage that lead early.
They have a good early game composition in some aspects. In others, they are lacking. Amumu is a very weak jungler in his very early levels before he gets entire kill line. So you actually, as an Amumu player, you do have to be wary of a champion like Vi doing some very early invades. In addition, Sona is the Kale of support, right? Like she is not doing anything early game. All she's looking to do is stack her passive, and that's something that is going to have to is going to be something that second is going to try and punish, because late game she's the kill support. If you aren't able to kill her in team fights, you are going to lose. Unless she's incredibly far behind, of course. So that's but Nice Secondary does have tools for this. They have Vi most assuredly the seasoned assist is able to get onto Sona and knock her down with the rest of her team. So we'll see if that's the target of choice. On the flip side, Stun Gaming Nebula definitely has to find an answer for this Mundo. Depending on the game state, they might be able to do it just through killing around him, take out the rest of Mundo's team, and then finish him off at your leisure. But I'm really interested what the junglers decide to do, because Vi's going to want to go bot lane and punish that relatively weak early from Sona. Amu's going to want to go top lane and punish that relatively early weak from Mundo. And both junglers are going to be aware of this and potentially flip their path in order to protect their weak bot lane from the threat of the opposing jungler. Now, like I just mentioned, Vi is a little bit stronger than Amumu early generally, right? Amumu gains strength when it comes to these later skirmishes and team fights, with the ultimate being a little bit more impactful than Vi if landed properly. But Amumu Bandit Shots is certainly also quite a good ganker when it comes to level 3 ganks, specifically into a champion like Dr. Mundo, right? Dr. Mundo's passive can block one from a CC, well, Amumu's got two. So I'm interested to see where these junglers decide to path in the first few clears. Is going to really decide the outcome of some of these lanes.
Oh, absolutely, bro. It's like Sun Gaming. I mean, like you said, their team fight is overall more impactful, but Knights they have excellent pick potential because if anybody gets hit with the CC, it's kind of curtains for them. But I mean,
Curtains call,
everybody,
perhaps, even.
yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody, you see the composition, like you know the composition, you know where everything's going. Put your opinions in the chat. But we're gonna be taking a quick little break here as we start breaking off, waiting for this spectator lay to go down, and we'll be back on the rift real soon here for game 2 between Stun Gaming Nebula and Knights of the Second Dinner. Welcome back, everybody, to game 2 between Stunned Gaming and Knights of the Second Dinner. As already looking across the board at the summoners and spells, nothing too crazy. As expected, Renekton did opt for that Ignite in the top lane there. As bot lane, Deku and Papa Skips might be walking into a trap there, but they're playing very well on the side of the main, so erring on the side of caution, and they will get that first poke. They're proccing that Guardian already, so a great time here already for the side of Stun Gaming's bot lane. And top lane, Renekton is winning out in these trades very heavily. They're starting level 1 with that Slice and Dice.
As expected as well. I mean, honestly, just not too much Manu can do early game. Honestly, this is solo queue. I mean, obviously it changed a bit when you talk about comp. In solo queue, you'd expect Renekton to actually be trying to zone Mundo from the XP of those first 3 melees. At least used in the past, perhaps new season changed I'm not aware of. But that used to be what you do, especially on Darius as well against Mundo. Champions like this that just cannot lose against a level 1. You just stand in front of him and say, walk up and fight me. I will win against you, tanking your wave the entire time level 1, right? Yeah, bot lane, Papa not getting off the damaging song there, the Hymn of Valor, which is really important to get off early. Early game on Sona, you're gated by your mana mostly, so on mana flow ban timers when you look to get the poke, and it's really important to get. Obviously, you can't miss it, but if they're out of vision or out of range, you can whiff, and it always feels very bad. But you get to hit it once, so you proc your mana flow ban, and then you kind of just wait until it comes back up. You're the Mundo of the bot lane. In this lane, you can't really expect to do much more than a little bit of poke damage. Obviously, if Caitlyn does well, you can kind of tag on. Ooh, very aggressive trainer tower. Almost went disastrously for bot Panda, but they're able to slice and dice their way out. Trading happy all across the map. So both junglers actually both pathing to the side that they're expecting to punish. So we'll have to see in about 30 seconds time when they reach their lanes if anything's going to convert off that. Good trade coming in. The Deadly Flourish from Bandit landing on Papa Skits, getting them down to about 30-40% HP, which might matter if they look to dive with a mill.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, I mean, both teams, they're pretty chilling here. I expect to see a really nice little dive in the top lane, like you just said, because like Vacant Tech, I mean, he's below, he just got a little above 200 HP already. So it's going to be a bit of a fight, a bit of a fist fight here between the lanes here. So let's see who gets the dive off first, because Papa Skips will spot the Vi on that ward here. Not a big wave top lane. So Grumpy Pants going to get spotted on the wards. Going to have to be a little bit careful. So they do know he is there. Vi is immediately beelining top lane. So let's see if the Renekton can get that wave in fast enough here. But pings are coming out here. They really don't want to play with that. But Vapor Wisp is going to get pretty low here. Gonna have to be careful. Those Mel autos do hurt, as she will have to force a flash out immediately. But they're looking for that dive here. Let's see who takes the aggro first. Should be Grumpy Panda. He will pick up that aggro first here, and he will get taken down. It's gonna be a 2-0 as Emil will be there to save his top laner. 2-0 1k goal lead at 4 minutes in the game for Knights.
Great timing from Mill using the Vault Breaker to stun up bot Panda right as they committed to the dive, meaning that the tower aggro, when they're started hitting, Ryze are expected to one-shot Vacant Tech, but they weren't able to. Yeah, converting perfectly. Meanwhile, Doka Papa Skips looking to press the advantage in the bot lane, a little bit in the 2v2. But yeah, okay, so let me talk a little bit more Sona, because she's the champion that's so simple, but it's got a lot going on underneath the hoods that I feel like no one is really aware of. So she has a stacking passive. Every time she lands that Hymn of Valor on a target, which means it can stack twice per ability or per use, or she uses her Aria Perseverance, the healing one, on it to heal an ally specifically, not yourself, and it needs to heal them. You can't use it on full health target. You get a stack. You get up to 120 stacks, each stack granting you 0.5 ability haste up until its max stack. Then every time you gain a stack, you instead reduce your ultimate cooldown, or ultimate of the cooldown that has left. So that means that you get 60 ability haste built into your kit, which is absurd, right? So that's one of the reasons why you're constantly looking to get this poke in as soon in your lane phase. One of your goals is to reach that point where you are just able to smash your face against your keyboards and abilities to constantly cooldown. Meanwhile, Milt is starting up the first dragon of the game. Grumpy Pants is going to have to go back to farming. Obviously, 2-0-0 on the Vi means it's not something you're going to want to fight. even though Vi has not based yet, so they're not yet quite that strong. But they will be basing soon, and then they're going to not really be contestable from anyone on the side of Stun for a little while. Bot Panda still able to get another or some tower damage done though. But level 6 coming in means Mundo's starting to get to his scary points.
Doku gonna get hit with the CC there. The nice lantern forward there. Bandit does have that flash. He will have that 4 shot, and he will claim that 2v2 kill there. Top lane, once again, they're gonna try for that dive. They knew that Vi was bot, but Pink's coming through. Vi immediately beeline top, but that's gonna be a stun under the tower, and Bot Panda will pick up that kill. So as they finally successfully finish the dive there mid lane, it's going to be a bit of a fist fight now. Vapor Wisp does have that Spirit Rush, trying to dodge out on the abilities, but it won't be enough. He didn't dodge enough, as he will get taken out in a solo kill. 4 for 1 so far. 1.3k goal lead in favor of Knights, as they also pick up the Drake.
Yeah, the Spirit Rush is not quite enough to get them out of danger there. And we also saw bot lane that's why we don't see Sona very often in competitive play. She just doesn't do enough. She's very easy to punish from a coordinated team. Laning phase, she is practically non-existent. She's a little bit more than a range minion. And while she's incredibly impactful in team fight, she is still squishy, and she still is able to be burst down, especially in comp where vision tends to matter more. It can be difficult to ward. And she was when you're out of mana Sona, which happens very quickly, you don't have to do much. So the tier pickup should help ameliorate that situation, but you have to be careful there because the tier does delay your Echoes of Helia, which is a very important power spike on your character. So there is a bit of a trade-off there. That being said, now that you can get multiple tiers in the game, the early tier has another reason behind it. But let's see. Tiny Shoes walking up. Grumpy Pants is there.
Let's see if he can dodge out this hook here, as Tiny Shoes, that's gonna go completely wide. It's gonna be a 3v3 now. Papa Skip's not gonna get hit with the Vault Breaker, but they're gonna commit to the fight now. Flash into his own team here, and let's see Emil, he's gonna get chunked up a little bit, but Papa Skips will be the first person to go down here. That's gonna be a nice little hook onto Doku. He does not have to flash anymore, and he will get taken down. Bandit will pick up that one, and it's gonna be a 2 for nothing in the bot lane, as Vapor Wisp, he's looking for that roam here, not quite gonna land with the deadly flourish, but Jakester is just gonna pick up that one. Doesn't even need to use the ultimate, and it is just going all wrong here for Stun Gaming.
Oh, this looking familiar. Bounties on Knights jungle mid bot lane. Where have I seen that before? Bot Panda once again, looking dominant, but obviously in the Renekton Mundo matchup, that's a little bit more to be expected. But it's 1-7. It's a 3k gold lead by 8 minutes, and it's not looking good for Stun Gaming.
Oh, Papa Skips getting chunked so hard in these fights here, and Sona, her early game isn't good, isn't super great, but I mean later on it's gonna be scaling into a monster, but like the gold lead, it's not insurmountable, but it is getting pretty high up there. Once again, Stun Gaming, they're gonna get all 3 grubs here with no contest, so gold lead is going to be about 3.3k in favor of Knights. So let's see what they do in this bot lane here, kind of quell this power, because Caitlin's still pretty strong relatively. I mean, there's still about the same items. It's just only a boot stiff here for Bandit. As top lane, they're going to look for the Gankaroni. Bandage Toss does not quite land here. Vacantech going to get hit with a lot of damage, but that's going to be a nice little flash ult there. But with the Curse of the Sad Mummy, Grumpy Pants will get that stun off, and Bot Panda will pick up that kill. So now, once again, they're putting a lot of eggs into this Renekton basket right now. So Renekton should be able to get that first tower, because Vacantech does not have the teleport. That's going to be a nice little hook onto Papa Skips. They're going to hit with a Deadly Flourish. So let's see what happens. They're going to get hooked on in there. That's going to be a 2-man crescendo onto that bot lane. But Tiny Shoes, he's getting lower and lower, but he's gonna get hit with the hook. Does still have the barrier. Let's see what happens. He's gonna pick up that kill. Does have that lethal tempo ramped up there. Doku does not have flash to keep following through, but that's gonna be a 2v2 kill there in favor of Stun Gaming. So now things are starting to look up. Bot Panda is gonna try to knock down that top lane tier 1 first. Does have the Dominus if he so pleases. He's gonna pop the Mundo passive here. Is mid lane once again. It's going to be another solo kill. Top lane, Bot Panda, he's going to pop that Dominus, but maximum dose is going to get popped in return here, hitting that the briefcase through the minions. But Bot Panda does have full rage here, so it could do a lot of damage. Bot lane, It's going to be Emil covering his bot laner, but teleport behind by Jakester, and he will get that one. But that's a nice little pilt over Peacemaker snipe on the back end, and that's going to be a big shutdown going into Doku's pocket, as Jakester will go on a rampage here, 4-0-0, committing that teleport. Papa Skips should get killed here, and that's going to be 5-0-0 for Jakester, as he is just so big right now. The gold lead will get cut down to about 1.5k, but we'll see if it will be enough later on in the game.
You know, dead even items for the 80 carries at the moment, but you have already Luden's coming in for Jakester, and yeah, that Mel is going to be scary, especially when you think about what it means for Stun's composition. They don't necessarily the best tools to deal with a Mel. Honestly, you might have to throw Bot Panda at her and hope for the best, but it'll be tough. Currently doing well once again. The first Arca Tower.
Is he dead here? Oh, doesn't quite land the hook. Doesn't even land the Vault Breaker either.
Fine.
They're under the tower. Gonna hit with a Deadly Flourish. Papa Skips. He's doing as much as he can to kite out, but he does have the Crescendo up in a couple seconds here. Gonna get hit with the Cease and Desist in the bot lane, but Bandit will pick up that first kill in the fight. But Bot Panda is teleporting in. He does have the Slice and Dice, and he will pick up that kill onto Emil eventually here. Finally will pick up that one, as Bandit is trying to kite out with the Storm Razor, but he's gonna get hit with the Bandage Toss under the tower. Ace in the hole will chunk him out to below half HP. Does not have the curtain call quite yet here. Drake will spawn in about 4 minutes, so nothing really crazy to get, but they're just gonna pick up these towers, and Stun Gaming are now firmly in the driver's seat here, as they do get the better end of those trades.
Let me tell you why they can do that, by the way, or Knights, why they can dive the Sona even though they miss literally everything. So Sona, level 1, has 550 health. A minion, or a melee minion, level 1, has 465 health, which means Sona is just marginally more healthy than a melee minion early on. When you're level 3, which is around when the first cannon minion arrives bot lane, you have 685 health as Sona. A cannon minion has 835. A cannon minion is almost 200 more health than you do when when it first arrives in lane, right? So Sona just as a champion is just so easy to kill if you land anything on her, that it does mean that they felt incentivized to go for such a ludicrous overextend that they were somewhat punished on. But it is worth noting that that punish did come at the expense of Bot Panda's TP, which I think they call a trade worth getting. They already cracked the top lane tier 1, might as well transition that lead, get some of the plates on this bot lane tier 1, but it does give Vacant Tech a little bit more room to breathe, a little bit more room to pick up a third giant spell to work towards getting that 2,000 bonus health they need to turn on their Warmogs.
Skips. He's going to get caught up here, and he
will
will get taken down once again for the 4th time. And he just completed the Wizard Crescendo. Yeah, it's a little rough.
Oh!
And he used the flash, and the curtain call gets used, and yep, it's rough. It's rough in the street.
Almost made it, though.
Grumpy Pants, he's going to get caught out in the top side here. Vacant Tech does not have the flash to get over the wall, so Grumpy Pants is able to get on out there. Doku doing a lot of damage, but that's going to be the barrier used in that bot lane, top lane. Grumpy Pants getting hit with the briefcase here. He's going to get hit with all the briefcases pretty much, as that's going to be the passive pop and the Curse of the Sad Mummy. Let's see if Bot Panda can do anything, but it's going to be a 3v1. Let's see if he can get anything done. Doug pop the Dominus, and Jakester is coming up to support his team here, as a Cease and Desist comes down, all the chain CC going out, but Slice and Dice going down. He's doing a lot of damage, almost gets a kill onto Emil, but the Triumph will just be barely enough there. And Stun Gaming, they were pretty much in the driver's seat, but then they just completely lose it. 4-0 trade here at 14 minutes. It's a little rough.
Absolutely correctly way to play that from Knights on the topside fight in the 3v1, because you'll notice that, and yeah, my boy's going to die again here, but you'll notice that Bot Panda pops a Dominus and they all just walk away. Mundo landed one cleaver to slow them down, or one briefcase, I should say, and they just waited for Jakester to get up, right? They know that when they get their range hyper-fed mage up in that lane, they'll be able to do the job for them, but you just don't want to go melee against a fed early game Renekton, so they played it correctly, but it's really entertaining to see both Vi and Mundo just turn around and walk away when the Renekton pops up in the 3v1, mind you. But you see how quickly that can go in the Renekton's advantage.
Oh yeah, Renekton is just such a disgusting champion.
And here we go.
Yep, and Vacant Tech forced to pop the maximum dosage to get on out there. So a little bit of a panic ultimate, but looking at the gold, yeah, he has like 5,400 gold in his pocket. He's about to get his the Warmogs, and I think he might just get the Heartsteel off rip also.
Oh, he
He
wouldn't have.
should be able to get the heart steal off rip, I think. Oh,
Both of
never
those
mind, never
items
mind. I
are
was looking
around
at the wrong
3,000
number. I was
gold.
looking at the wrong number.
Yeah.
So he does get the Warmogs off rip there. So that he's pretty much just sustained forever here in the lane. But 3 grub renekton, I mean, he's pretty much being chilling here in the top lane. It's a 4k gold lead, or 3k, 3.5k in favor of Knights. That Mel is 7-0.
Oh yeah.
Vapor Wisp just having a really rough game here once again here. And like it wasn't even like due to jungle pressure, it's just getting solo kill. He's down almost 3.5k
So
gold to his lane opponent. That's about a full item down. And it's just looking a little bit rough here for
yeah.
right now. Stun Gaming, they're gonna opt to look to cross map the neutral objectives here. So they will get that Herald. If they do so please to pop that into the mid lane, they should be able to get that one sooner better than later. Or, yeah, sooner better than later. So right now, I mean, it's not too bad. I mean, it's only 4k gold. The lead isn't completely insurmountable. But
But it's
we're
still
going to have
point.
to see if Stun can kind of lock in a little bit and look for these big crucial team fights, because it's mostly just a bunch of skirmishing over a lot of air, you know?
Yeah, well, 3 dragons for Knights means they might be looking to shut the door relatively quickly on this series. Soon as our first item, but when you're 0-4-4, it's just tough to get anything done. You're level 8, right? What are you gonna do against level 13 Mel? Mundo having that heart steal means they can now start winning the side lane against Renekton, because they can take trades where they lose 70% of their HP in exchange for 40%, walk away, heal back up to full, and Renekton has to look elsewhere. So, which might be mid lane here. We do see Bot Panda looking for a
Oh,
bit
that's
of
a nice
flank.
little ult over the wall, and that's going to be the Mel first taking out the fight. That's going to be a nice little banish toss here. Grumpy Pants is setting it all up for his team. There's nothing really up on the table here when it comes to neutral objectives, but that's a double kill going over to Doku, and they should be able to knock down a couple towers in the mid lane.
A double kill and a massive shutdown for the Caitlyn. So this is going to be a much needed influx of gold for Doku. We'll see if they would do much more here in the siege. They do have grubs, they have rift. They should be able to get exactly as you said. A lot of work done here in the mid lane.
Yep, they'll get that first neutral or objective bounty, as they'll crash that into the second mid lane tier 2 here, as they're gonna take. They should be able to take this one. Never mind, Mundo is doing a lot of damage. Also,
Here's Vi.
as Emil is here for the fight, that's going to be a cease and desist onto 2 members of Stun Gaming. Let's see if they can get on out there. Papa Skips is able to dodge out on that curtain call here, but Jakester, he's gonna get stunned up with the banish toss, but it is an overextension by Stun Gaming. And what was that damage? Oh my god, Jakester picks up a triple kill there on the back end with the teleport behind, and it's a 4-0 here, and Knights of the Second Dinner are going to immediately claim another. They're going to immediately claim that tower to reciprocate the pain that Stun Gaming have inflicted, and they might look for a second here, as there's nobody really on the map to help clear that tower.
2 items and only 1,000 gold away from the Rabadon's death cap for Jakester. This Mel is going to be public enemy number 1 for the side of Stun Gaming for the rest of this game. You have to do exactly what you did in that initial mid confrontation and land your full
Panda,
combo
he's
on
teleporting onto
fight.
the back end. They're not gonna ward the Lantern a little bit too late there. Bot Panda gonna get slowed up, slice and dice forward, but does have the dominance. He's gonna get a little chunky here. And let's see, they're gonna get the charm onto the back line there. That's a 3-man curse of the sad mummy! As once again, Rummy Pants is doing everything for his team, as Vegatech will be falling down here. 3 for 1 so far. Jakester popping that ultimate to claim the kill onto the Ahri. Let's see if they can do enough. Caitlyn is on the back end, getting chunked a little bit. Mel does not have the flash, does have the reflect here, but will not use it fast enough, as she will get taken down, as she will claim another kill on the back end, but a big shutdown going over to Doku.
Okay, so let's just ignore the fact that Jakester just completely blew up Papa Skips at the end there. But we saw how Sona got punished super early in lane. That's what she's bad at. We're starting to see what she's good at. When you have these teammates that go long like this, that's where Sona gets a shine, because you are able to just constantly keep your team in the fight in more ways than one. You're constantly healing from Arya Perseverance, means your team is able to constantly heal up from the little bit of the poke damage and chip damage you take during a team fight. And your Sona of Perseverance, I believe. Yeah, your Song of Celerity is able to keep your team literally in the fight, as it enables your melee threats like your Amumu and your Renekton to stay on top of the Mel, stay on top of the Jhin, and finish the job. And we see, once again, like you pointed out, Grumpy Pants finding the crucial Song of the Sad Mummies, allowing them to fully take or fully lock down and take out multiple members of Nice before the fight's ready to break out. And they looked like they were overextending again with Vapor Wisp and Bot Panda both coming with the Dragon Pit Wall, followed by Dooku, but this time they had the team there. They had the full 5 members last time Vapor Wisp was bot side, and they were able to make the flip happen. But there's still 4k gold down. There's 40 seconds up for what would be Soul for Knights. So they won one big team fight. Can they do it again? Their cooldowns are back up, but can they find these angles for a third time this game? Might just do the classic Baron trade.
Oh, they're just gonna start the Baron up here. They do it pretty slow here. Jin doesn't quite do a ton of damage. But Stun Gaming, they're gonna get wise to this though. They're gonna run up on this. Mel is getting zoned out, but that's a Vault Breaker stun CC onto the Mumu. This Curse of Sad Mummy onto 2 members of Knights of the Knights of the Second Dinner. Vacant Tech is gonna get chunked out like crazy. That's a nice little charm onto the back end. Bot Panda is solo killing Jakester, and Jakester will go down here eventually. Slice and dice going forward, and that's going to be a kill there. 2 for 1 so far here. No jungler for the side of Stun Gaming, but it doesn't even matter as they pick up the rest of Knights of the Second Dinner. Are they going to start this Baron? I really don't think so.
I think it's
they're not going to start that Baron, but they're going to go for the Drake here. They're going to deny that soul point as Grummy Pants is so clutch this game.
With a mill up and Bandit and Hex Gates on map, if you go for Baron, they do get soul, which is not worth doing, but they will catch
He's
a mill.
coming up in here, slice and dice, the chain CC onto Emil. Let's see if they stop the Lantern. They will not. But they are going to start up this Drake here. Emil is a quarter HP here. You're going to heal to about half with that Gromp kill. But they're just going to give up the soul point here. He's not going to risk it for the biscuit, as that's going to be denial of the soul point and game stall for about 5 more minutes.
And Emil walked up in the Fog of War's comments there because they were expecting Stun to get the Baron there. Because someone directly to Dragon, they were able to find that catch. And yeah, it looks like Nice is maybe cracking a bit under the pressure. We saw, first of all, that Baron start, which was then sniffed out by Stun, and Stun is reaching the point where you can't. They hooked in Grumpy Pants. That's not the target you want to hit. You're just giving the Mumu an engage angle for that big crowd control ultimate. In addition, Sona is continuing to scale now at 2 items, and Jakester, for the second time, 1v1ing the only person they can't. Jakester is such a strong threat currently on this melt, and they're just continuing, looking like more and more of them are dropping like flies across the rift. Jakester can absolutely defeat literally anyone on Stun's roster in a 1v1 except for Bot Panda. That extra durability and burst damage from the Renekton is too much, but this is a matchup that Knights is happy to take.
Absolutely, Bot Panda, he's gonna get chunked pretty hard here, but the Death Sentence will not land. Tiny Shoes, why are you flashing Papa Skips? What the H are you doing? It was just a bait. Tiny Shoes will be the first to get taken. I don't even. I'm actually genuinely speechless. I don't even.
Oh no, you flash fully on Sona all the time. You have reached a point where you always have your E off cooldown. So what you can do there is that the Thresh hook was off cooldown. So they missed. They were looking for Bandit obviously, but which would have been a quick kill. But you're reaching the point where you can flash forward, ultimate, knock them down, follow up with your passive, which is of course that power chord. Which is like the only real area where you have skill expression of the champion of me, because the Song of Celerity. Power core, which is the movement speed increase, slows by an insane amount. It's, I believe, it starts at 50% slow for 2 seconds, and it scales with AP as well. So you're able to fully lock down enemy AD carry, and then your team can follow up there.
What? I don't even know what the kind of interaction just happened here. As the Curse of Sad Mummy onto 2 members of Knights of the Second. That was a lot of damage. Oh my god. That headshot took her to half HP. As he's on the wrong side of the rift here. And he's going to try to get under the tower here to try to clear up the wave a little bit. But Emil will hit him with the Vault Breaker. Baron already claimed by the side of Stun Gaming as they're going to start pushing out these lanes. And finally, they're going to start equalizing out the gold lead here for the first time this game. But it's a 2-0 start here at the beginning of this Baron power play by Stun.
Yeah, you can't be getting too confident though if you're Stun, because things are starting to go well for you, but we saw how quickly they can go poorly. That damage that hit Jakester, if they rebuttal the proper time, they're reflecting that headshot directly back to Doku's face, and that's not going to be a good time for Stun's roster. In addition, there's Knight is still just one dragon away from Soul, meaning it just takes one fight before this game is once again firmly in the hands of Knights. But it is it's firmly the prerogative of Stun to throw at this point. They have reached the position in the game where Sonas is a absolute monster of a champion. They've reached the point where Caitlyn is able to at range one-shot some of the squishier members on Knight's roster, and you can't help but to expect that if this game continues to pan out the way it has been, it will be going to a third game in the series.
Oh, absolutely. Now, the gold lead has pretty much just completely equaled out there. Baron is going to be up for another 30 seconds here. Bot Panda going to get that slow, forcing the flash away from Bandit. As the Lantern comes through, he's not going to even pick up that one. And that's a big cooldown right before the Drake spawn also. So now, Bot Panda, oh, Vacant. Vacant, you're all by your lonesome, buddy. He's going to hit with the Curse of the Sad Mummy. The slows are coming down. So much damage. He has no resistances, barely any, as he gets completely shredded there by Doku. And that's going to be a reset coming through with a Baron and Powered Recalls here. They're not going to go for that mid lane tier 2. And oh man, Papa skips. He's going to get chunked to about half HP, but should be able to heal up a bit here. No, he's not. Never mind. I stay corrected. As Jake's, what? That was half HP with one full channeled Q there. So it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade here. Tops for support, as they're not really going to have any vision now. Vapor Wisp is going to have to run on out there. Does have the Spirit Rush, and he's gonna hit with his own charm, and he's gonna get taken. Oh my god, Jakester! Stop it! That's so much damage. What was that damage? Drake's spawning in about 20 seconds here. They really want this mid lane tier 2, but they can't really overextend for that one, as that should be sole claim now for the side of Knights of the Second Dinner.
And that's something you can't. You understand that you still have to play some solid ledge. You still respect your opposition. Papa Skips got sniped with a long-range deadly riposte that while they were in their Song of Celerity, they absolutely do the moon speed to dodge that, but all it takes is one miss. All it takes is throwing your charm into a Mel, not expecting a rebuttal for the bench, but they are looking like they're going to try and flip this.
Oh, he's going to
Vanish
flip
toss
it,
is
but I
available.
think he's getting here way too late. Oh my god, he's getting it right into the middle, but he will not claim that one. It's going to be a 4-man Curse of the Sad Mummy, and the Baron won't be up for about another 2 minutes here, but it was a noble cause there by Grummy Pants. He almost got that, actually, as, oh no. He's not going to get in range. He's barely... Now he's going to get in range of the cease and desist. Bot Panda going to have to block, but he's not going to block as the rest of the enemy, or as the rest of Stun Gaming come in to protect their ADC. That's a flash away by Doku. So that's a crucial summoner spell used before the Baron spawns. Hex Tech Soul claimed by the side of Knights of the Second Dinner, as the gold lead is just pretty much negligible at this point. The Caitlyn is so far ahead of this Jhin. She does so much damage, but the Mumu spawning in about 5 seconds here does not have the ultimate, so now you're gonna have to be a little bit careful here, as now bot lane, it's going to be a 4v1 dive. Panda is going to immediately blast the wave there, as let's see who goes for it. That's going to go flash over with the charm by Vapor Wisp, as almost kills Emil there off rip, as it's going to be a 5v5 team fight. And that's a nice little stun on top of the Renekton. He's forced to pop the Dominus early so he doesn't get popped by the Mel ultimate. It's going to be Bot Panda having to reset here, a little bit too low for comfort, as Knights are looking to siege that bot lane tier 2 here, and they will brute force that tower down, as Bot Panda going to go mid lane here, going to try to push out these towers and deny the rest of the push here from Knights. But now it's going to be a 2k gold lead in favor of Knights, as they start resetting and start prepping for this Baron. As, ooh, that's ace in the hole onto the Vi here. They're going to keep chasing a little bit, so they do stall that reset, but now resets coming through from both teams. Oh, Bot Panda. No, Bot Panda, don't do it. Bot Panda, he doesn't have Dominus. He's going to get chain CC'd. He's going to get used to the slice and dice to get on out, but he's not gonna, he's going to be a bit of a fimble fumble Rooski right before the Baron. So now it's going to be a 4v5 fight for the Baron here, as we're going to see how Stun Gaming take this fight.
You mentioned last game that the Cloud Drake was not necessarily the most impactful dragon for Knight's comp. Well, this game, Hextech certainly is. The fact that you now have the option of... Oh, and that should be a
Grumpy Pants
going down.
Grumpy Pants, and oh, he's going to
escape the minions
on out there.
But now they have the options of things like Mundo Cleavers, enabling the slow for champions like Mel and Jhin, who rely on those skill shots to just absolutely one-shot the squishier members of Stun with their own Hextech buffs. is just so unbelievably difficult to play against, and that's why that dragon going the way of Knights, the fact that Grumpy Pants smote just a little bit too early, leaving the dragon about 200 health, should really, you can help it imagine, spell the end of stun in this series. You need to get on Jakester in order to win these team fights, and it becomes that much harder when you have 5 slows to get through the entire team of Knights now, all each having that hex tech proc. And in addition, the scaling continues. We have almost full build coming in now from Jakester. We have a 4th item soon coming in on Jin, which is of course hilarious. So you have to wonder, like, what can stun do in this situation? You still always have the wombo combo, but can you land it the 2 or 3 times in a row you're going to need to close it this game?
Yeah, pretty much. They need to look for the perfect team fight. Grumpy Pants has pretty much been on point with most of his engage, but now now they're getting towards the finish line. The lights are a little bit too bright, so they're starting to kind of falter a little bit at the finish line. As Emil, he's gonna get slowed up there. That's gonna be a dominance onto the back line. Bandit gonna get chunked up a good bit, but Emil is getting so low. He's gonna get taken down. That's the first kill of the team fight there. Bandit, he's gonna get right on top of the lanes, and nobody is there to save him. As that's gonna be Bot Panda going into the back line, getting the stun onto Jakester. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 so far as the curtain call gets called in the river, but that's going to be Vapor Wisp going right into the back line with the Spear's Refuge, or the Spirit Rush, as Vegatech is just going to run him down. 2 for 2 so far, or 2 for 3 here, as that's going to be Stun Gaming at the brink of defeat, winning the team fight there against a Baron Soul-empowered Knights.
All right, that's on me. Made a bit of a cast curse for Nice, but I guess, okay, so never mind. That's the answer to the question. The way you win as stunned is you take a 5v4 when Mel is not there. Jakester had the TP in, and they didn't have the greatest word to do it. They had the TP relatively back into the team fight, which means that by the time the strongest member of Knights was able to join the fight, Emil had already fallen. Bandit was already left at 1 HP, and even though that Vacant Tech now has the level 16 on the Mundo, enabling that the ultimate does heal an extra 5 or 10% health per nearby enemy, it wasn't enough. They stunned is close enough. They're just 2k gold behind. They're still close enough in this game that they have the damage to take out the threats when they get those engages without the Mel to just completely
That's a nice little death sentence there, but both teams vying for that power over this Elder Drake. This is the burger flip of all burger flips. Gold lead does not matter. It's about who can pick the fight now, as both teams, they're playing around this Elder. On paper, Knights should take this game pretty handedly, but they are now on a bit of the back foot here, as that's a nice little charge. Oh my god! That does so much damage as the Deadly Flourish landing onto the back line, and that's going to be Mel getting taken out first. She reflected the bandit toss. 2 for 0 so far in the team fight there, as Grumpy Pants is getting chicken below half HP, and he will get the stun as his last dying breath. As Stun Gaming, they're winning the team fight. It is a 4-for-1 here. Curtain call gets called, but it will not be curtains for Stun, as they are looking to push into the mid lane. Ping's coming through. They are going to try to end this game there, as Papa skips. He's going to try to interrupt the Jin here. He's going to get the interrupt onto the Jin. And Jin, he's going to have to kill Papa skips if he wants to reset now. And he will get his reset. 24 seconds on the Mel. 15 seconds on the Thresh. Can Stun Gaming end it here?
I spoke in doubt not too long about whether or not Stun Gaming could find the 2 or 3 team fights wins in a row that they need to win the game. The answer was yes, they can. 2 games in, but it is going to be close. But the Kaylin should have enough damage to do it, and it is game 2 the way of Stun Gaming. We were going to a tiebreaker match 3. They were able to find those fights. They were able to catch out first the team without the Mel, and then the Mel with the team in order to secure the Elder Dragon fight win, and with it, the entire game.
Oh man, Jakester, that reflect on the bandage toss, that's rough. That's so rough, because he basically YOLOs it into the enemy team, and then he just gets completely blasted. That is very unfortunate timing there. It just takes one team fight to lose the game here, and Stun Gaming pick up the game 2 victory here.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly even took a couple with how far ahead Knights were after getting that soul, but they were to find it. I mean, hats off to Stun Gaming. They were able to as a team, know when to pull the trigger. Grumpy, of course, finding those bandage toss into Curse of the Sad Mummies onto multiple members several times throughout this game, and then of course you have um, the Panda just slicing, dicing the way up in there, locking down those crucial targets long enough for the rest of the composition, such as Doku with the Caitlyn snipes, just fully locking the game. You can. I feel like it really was a good team effort. I feel like you can highlight everyone. Vaporwist had, of course, a very rough early game, but you know what? They brought it back. They were able to participate in these later team fights in a way that made up for their early deficits. And Papa Skips was on the soda, which honestly, when you get to these 30, 40-minute games, is always going to be enough to make a difference if you're able to make it through that early laning phase. I'd say relative unscathed, but they were 0-4-4 at one point. But it was enough of a back and forth game that kind of the grittier, down in the dirt composition of Stun was able ultimately to pull through.
Absolutely, man. Like that was a crazy sequence of events there. Stun Gaming just bringing it back from the brink. I mean, they were really close like the entire game. And then Stun Gaming, they get one really good team fight right at the end, right in front of Elder, and they completely win it. I mean, it was what it was like I think it was like two or three Barons were taking that game. Knights had Soul, and they still brought it back from the brink there. So Stun Gaming now they have a lot of momentum going into game 3. So we're gonna see if Stun Gaming can get the upset onto Knights, or if Knights can lock in and bring it back and take this victory away from Stun. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back, everybody, to Game 3 between Knights of the Second Dinner and Stun Gaming Nebula. It was an absolute banger of a Game 2 as Stun Gaming take the victory out of Knights' clutches here, as we're going to get into draft very, very shortly. But looking at last draft here, I mean, it was a bit of a smorgasbord, but we talked about it before. They scaled up. They got into that late game. They got one really good team fight, and bada bing, bada boom, they took that victory here. So they bring us to a game 3 now. And now at this point, it's kind of like now we're in game 3 of Fearless. So now at this point, there's not really too much predicting in the draft. It's kind of like you just got to let it happen, going with the flow at this point.
For sure. 20 champions locked away, which of course will be up to a total of 30 when you include this game's bans. Some players will start to be scraping the bottom of their champion pools. Insofar as like notable highlights for who I don't expect to have that prom, I see Bandit has a lot of games and a lot of champions this season, so they have a lot of picks left if they so need them. Elsewhere, that's not necessarily the case. There are still, of course, a few comfort picks that have not been picked this series, which I expect will be banned away just the same as they were the rest of the game. Stuff like the Fizz for the side of Jakester and Varus for the side of Doku, I imagine will once again be first cycle bans. But yeah, when you're getting into the game 3, I mean, it's a lot of league to play in a row. These players have been at it from several hours or a couple hours already at this point. You have to make sure you're still focused, and so you start to ask yourself, like, at what point do you start making considerations for compositions that are easier to play, easier to execute upon, versus compositions that might necessarily have like a higher ceiling. You can start to get into those kind of decisions, but either way, I think both teams should now be approaching this third game with a lot of a lot of respect and focus for their opponent, right? Both teams show that they have what it takes to win a game. We have yet to see who has what it takes to take the series.
Oh, absolutely, man. Like now, they're both teams, like you said, they're gonna have to dive deep into their pockets to see what kind of change they can pull out. Because I mean, both these teams, they still have a lot of decent pocket picks here. I mean, Vapor Wisp does play a lot of Lux, so good look for that Lux. Grumby does have that Volley Bear, but I think it's been banned all 3 games. Same thing with
Mhm.
Doku. He does have that Varus, but it's been banned all 3 games. So that Jinx might be taken off the table here. But right now, I mean, we're seeing the exact same bans we've been seeing for the past 3 games here. So Knights, they're kind of calling the bluff. Like, are you gonna ban the Varus? Yeah, you will ban the Varus. So it's pretty much been the same 3 bans all game here. And Knights, they go for Aphelios first pick here. So that is some spicy stuff here coming out from Bandit.
I'm not too surprised to see it, honestly. Bandit does have quite a few games on the champion. In addition, Bandit, of course, has had a fairly solid series. I do expect that Knights' second dinner might feel quite comfortable building a draft and a team composition around their bot lane carry. So with that in mind, I guess if you're on the side of Stun Gaming, you start thinking about, okay, first of all, what can we do to play against it? And second of all, what are they going to pair with the Aphelios in the bot lane, especially because the classic combo of Aphelios being Thresh has already been banned from Fearless this series.
Usually with Aphelios, I usually see like basically just any good disengaged champion. So maybe Lulu could be the pick here. So curious to see what they pick. And we just talked about the Lux. I called it. I called it. That is Vapor Wisp Lux here. That is by far their most played champion. 32 games played this season so far out of what is that? Like 38? And
Wow.
56% win rate. So that is a Lux mid here. So gonna be curious to see what um and I his name is eluding me now. Jakester. Let's see what Jakester picks here into this
Um,
Lux. And it's gonna be Aphelios
yeah.
Braum here. So for Stun Gaming, I need to see an enchanter. I need to see an enchanter here. If it's
Yeah,
not an enchanter, I will go berserk. Or Rakan.
you,
Rakan is a really good counter into Braum.
You certainly called the Lux, and you also called the fact that Aphelios likes that disengaged support, and Braum certainly is that. Um, yeah,
Oh,
Vygar is Jakester's answer into the Lux. So I suppose that's an interesting one to me because Jakester has been so dominant in the 1v1 so far this series. So to me, normally you'd expect Vigar to be a pick that suggests that they're just playing to sit back and let the lane phase run its course. But knowing how these players have been playing this series, I wouldn't be surprised if this from Jakester is saying that I've been picking a champion that will scale up to this point where it will absolutely one-shot the enemy bot lane carry as well as the enchanter I expect them to play because of our Braum pick, and I'm still going to beat you in lane. That's what I'm sensing coming out of that pick,
Oh,
and we'll see. It is exactly what you're talking about, enchanters. So tell me why this is so good into Aphelios Braum.
so Seraphine does really good in the poke department, but later on, I mean, so the thing that separates a good Braum from a great Braum is shield discipline. Like
Hmm.
you don't just put it up willy-nilly for the damage reduction because it's kind of negligible on yourself. You use it to block crucial cooldowns, i.e., the encore from the Seraphine. So I really need to see how Stunned Gaming play into that combination because Ash Seraphine is a top tier combination because Ash constantly applies the slow with the frost arrow, and then
Frost
Seraphine
shot.
just only needs one beat drop in order to land that CC. So that kind of allocates your passive to double cast literally any other of your basic abilities. So if you want to do a little more damage, you pop the Q twice. If you want some healing, shielding, you pop the W twice. So there's a lot of options there. So this is a really what's it called? Oppressive bot lane here by the side of Stun Gaming because like we talked about it, like game one I think. Now they have a bot lane that gives them a lot of pressure. So we're gonna see
Hmm.
how they play with that pressure in game three here because now this is a bit of a switcheroo here from the first two games. They've been kind of getting weak sided a good bit, but now they're having these two champions that give them so much pressure and so much setup here, and it's gonna be ooh dear. Oh man, we're talking about going deep in the pockets. This is real deep.
So Udyr is interesting to me specifically against a Vigar, because you do just get a cage thrown around you, and then if you don't have your flash, that's kind of it for your fight. So I'm really interested to see what exactly Grumpy's able to able to do on this pick, because inherently I'm not exactly seeing it. But I've been surprised by stun gaming very recently in that game too. So I'm willing to be surprised again. Cylon being picked up for Night's Second Dinner is a classic pick for Vacant Tech. It is one of their most played champions in the league. So definitely comfort there insofar as comp is concerned,
Gwen?
and definitely makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense when you already have two hyperscalers in your other laners.
No way he picks Garen here. Gwen is up, but Garen is not too bad either.
They
Garen.
also have a
Oh,
lot of AP,
oh
especially
man.
because Udyr tends to go more AP than AD these days. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go with a non-Gwen option here, even though, of course, in the isolated 1v1 against Sion, it usually makes a lot of sense. But I do think you want the Sion to be able to just exclusively build MR this game. So Garrett, so what worries me about Stun Gaming's team is they kind of have two wings here, right? You have your long range poke wing in the first three picks, and then you have their melee run at you in a straight line wing in their last two picks. The first three picks kind of get a little bit countered by Braum, but maybe they have enough skill shots to just plan to overwhelm it. But then they get no additional skill shots to try and overwhelm that shield's ability to block everything in their next two picks, and instead pick two champions which just get blocked by Vigar Cage and Trundle Pillar, right? Like the Side of Knights has tons of man-made terrain to make these zero movement ability or zero dash slash teleport champions whose sole mobility is just move faster at you. They can just get fully blocked off and fully locked out of the fight. And I'm really worried that it's going to be very difficult for Stun Gaming to take these two wings and let them play together.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're talking about like the difference between like the top side and the bot side. Like, you're absolutely right. I mean, because the biggest thing I think about now is do they have enough damage to break through the Braum, Trundle, and Scion before they feel like Vigar blast through the Udyr Garen? Because, like you said, like Udyr and Garen, they kind of just run in a straight line or they just run at you. So it's going to be very interesting to see because they Stun Gaming. I mean, their bot side, they have a lot of range. They have a lot of poke to mess around with. So if they want to try to chunk out knights before they engage, because they don't really have good engage tools. They have good trap tools. So I really want to see it's going to be very interesting to see how Stun play this matchup because like both these team comps are very different. Knights kind of depend on you to run into them. Stun Gaming, they kind of play from range. They're not really running into you that much in theory. But Stun Gaming, they have a lot of unique picks here that you don't see often. Like, you got the Lux, you got the Udyr, you got Garen. Knights, they have a little bit more of a stable composition here. So like nothing really happens. Like they kind of just sit there, kick their feet up and scale up. So this third game, honestly, for me, like I really couldn't give it to either team either way. It's such a fiesta, honestly, at this point after game two, that it could really go either way here, honestly.
I agree. Just about everything you said. First of all, yeah, prototypical knights going a very traditional composition, and I do like what I'm seeing for Stun Gaming Nebula. I feel like Stun Gaming Nebula is showing us three very different comps this series, and that's what you want to see from a team at the current bottom of the standings. You want to see them try new things and see what works for them. And the Sona did last game, so maybe these off meta picks might work for them a second time in a row. And exactly what you're saying, these team fights have very different identities. Just looking at the compositions, I expect Knights to, of course, assuming a relatively even game state, I expect Knights to win basically any front to back. I don't think there is a way for Stun Gaming Nebula's front line to outlast Aphelios Veigar before their backline is able to take out the Scion Trundle Braum. However, I can also see a team fight scenario where Stun Gaming Nebula is able to get the advantage, and how they do that is they have Udyr and Garen both on separate flank angles, constantly pressuring the Aphelios Veigar, forcing the front line to either stay back and try and protect them and give Stun Gaming's backline space to do whatever they want, or Knight's front line to try and bum rush Stun Gaming, in which case you expect the CC tools available to the Ashlux and Seraphine, especially those potent slows, to be able to lock down that front line and disrupt them long enough for the Udyr Garen to bum rush the Aphelios Veigar and win that 2v2. But that being said, definitely a lot of variables need to be considered. Obviously, it doesn't matter how good your backline is at slowing or stunning if a Scion is charging at you with an unstoppable ultimate. So that still needs to be dodged. But yeah, definitely very interesting compositions to go head to head in what will be the deciding match of the series.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, last game, man, I forget his name. It's eluding me now. The top laner for Stunned.
For Stun, Bad Panda?
Yeah, Panda. Like last game, like his flanks were so
Bot lane.
on point here. So like with a champion like Garen, I'm assuming he's just gonna do like the normal Garen build. Like you go into Stride Breaker, Phantom Dancer, and into Berserker's Greaves. So he's gonna do a lot of damage. So I kind of want to see him look for those big flank angles and look to just kind of obliterate the back line once again here. But you made a lot of great points here. This game could go either way. Knights of the Second Dinner versus Stun Gaming Nebula, Game 3. We're going to be taking a quick little break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back real soon to get on the Rift. Welcome back, everybody, to the final game between Stun Gaming Nebula and Knights of the Second Dinner here. Game 3 will look to be absolutely bonkers here as we get into Game 3 Fearless. Both these teams are going deep into their bag to look for different champions to play here. As for now, looking across the board, summoner spells and keystones, nothing too crazy. Garen did go for that ignite in the top lane there. Let's see if he actually went like the proper rune page here. And he absolutely, yep, he absolutely did. So, yep, he's just gonna, do the Garen thing. He's just gonna spin up on his face there, full stack conqueror. No real good trade back there, as Garen will just start zoning him off the wave bot lane already. Duke, I can't see. Goddamn, Doku and Papa Skips. They're just gonna assert their will on the enemy bot lane there. As mid lane here, Vapor Wisp is on his main, or on their main, so now he's just going to kind of start, or they're going to start putting up a lot of damage here as they take advantage of that level 2 priority.
You know, I wonder some I miss, or like there must be something these players know that I don't, because I'm noticing that both of these are support players are going bone plating into the double poke matchups, which on paper I feel you'd rather take second wind. But the fact that happens to both of them leads me to believe that there must be something to that interaction that I must not be aware of. But yeah, the top lane, you really got to see just how much damage those Clunkers has. Oh, good baby cage comes up. That event horizon being not much of a pop there. Silence lands.
A lot of damage there with the spin.
Ignite.
Does have that ignite. So pops that ignite. I don't think that's going to kill him. It doesn't do 100 damage quite yet. They're popping the pot. So Scion is going to be below 100 HP, so going to have to be really careful there with that flash auto. But it could be a bit of a bait there. It does have that Soul Furnace. The Scion does have the Soul Furnace available. So that's going to be the slow coming down here. A lot of damage mitigated. But let's see. You want to wait for that shield to expire, and he's going to go for it. And that's a flash away from the Scion. But it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade in the top lane. But Scion, actually, he's going to claim the rest of that wave there with the passive. So he really ain't going to lose too much there. As bot lane, Trundle will get onto that bot scuttle, and both junglers are just kind of splitting the map here. But for now, Ophelia surprisingly is ahead in the CS department there, despite the double range advantage. Gonna have to be careful getting chunked too hard there in the bot lane, as they are gonna look for a bit of a dive there, but it's only going to be a singular pillar being used. But no real good follow-up there, as Ashe is starting to go a little crazy, does have that approach velocity, so she will do a lot better in those extended trades there. But top lane, Udyr, he is looking, he is searching, he wants that engage. Does know that Scion does not have the flash, so that's going to be a silence on the Scion here, but he's just going to get under tower just in the nick of time. But right now it's just a pretty even gold lead here. It's only 1-for-1 in the top lane so far.
Yeah, you mentioned the CS and the Aphelios against the double range method, also with the cleanse, which of course is very useful against these CC cooldowns like the Ashe Enchanted Crystal Arrow or the Seraphine Encore. But in the early lane, it basically means you're down a summoner, right? Like that is the trade-off. You don't have a barrier, you don't have a heal, or I guess it's an additional combat summoner. So you would expect Doku and Papa Skips to be able to push that advantage, but it so far has gone even. But here's Gummy Pants.
That's going to be Aphelios. Oh, barely flashes out of range of the beat drop. So that's going to be flashed out by the Aphelios top lane. Once again here, Garen is just spinning to win all over Sion's face. Does not have that flash. They're going to have to be a little bit careful there. Bot lane for Bandit was forced to flash away, and Tiny Shoes used that heal. So Drake up in about 12 seconds here. It's going to be a Cloud Drake. So pretty good here for either team if they want it. But Trundle will get first dibs on that Drake here. He's going to start that thing right up, knowing that the bot lane of Knights did reset.
However,
it's
yeah, it was.
The logos are swapped. Logos are swapped on the stream. That's why.
Yeah. So Stun's bot lane reset. The trade-off of Trundle or Emil starting off this dragon is that it means that his bot lane actually has to stay. So they're down a recall. So if Papa Skip does try and contest here, they actually have
spot this now. It's going to be a steal. No, it won't be. Trundle, he's going to get slowed up a little bit here. But that's going to be the first kill of that team fight going over to the side of Stunned Gaming there, as they do claim that Braum. Trundle forced to use that flash there, but it was a really close steal there, a little dicey. But first Drake will be claimed once again here by the side of Knights. They have 100% first Drake take here in this series.
Oh wow. Yeah, Vapor Wisp having the situational awareness you'd expect from a Lux main with that ultimate on the Final Spark, crucial to getting that kill conversion. And also, it has been a relatively lackluster series for Vapor Wisp so far, but they've been showing. They've been looking confident on their comfort pick. They've been doing relatively well against the Vigar, 10 CS up, contributing to that play. But meanwhile, there's another play having bot side.
Flash is dead.
Goku
She doesn't have flash.
Yeah. The pillar is sometimes all you need to ensure a mobile character meets the jaws of fate, and that'll be a kill going over to Bandit, which is not where you want that gold. You should be very scared if you're stunned of any gold going over to Vigar or Aphelios. Speaking of which, Blazing Stampede comes in.
And that's going to be a nice little donation over. As top lane, oh, Garen barely gets that solo kill.
Oh, he make it away?
I think he just walks out. He just walks out. He doesn't have boots, so he just walks on out there. So it's the solo kill in the top lane. And
almost chased down their tower, though. That's hilarious.
This time around, Stun Gaming, they have a sizable advantage. They have a nice little advantage for themselves in this early game now. So right now, I mean, gold lead's only about 400. First Drake was taken by Knights, so the gold lead's a little bit misleading. But otherwise, I mean, Garen, once again, I mean, Bot Panda, he's doing really good here against Vacant Tech. I mean, this is what, the third game he's gotten an early game advantage against him.
Yeah, definitely has been the individual member of Stun that has been doing the best in his lane assignment. Sorry, but when you talk about the gold difference, look at where it isn't. Almost 15 CS up, 15 CS up now, and having the kill. The Aphelios is well on the way to scaling. Did opt for the Swifties first, which makes a lot of sense when you look at everything that Stun is doing. Even Garen is going to pick up that Stride Breaker, and so every member of a slow. I don't expect that'll be the last boost that Swiftness will be seeing on the side of Knights before this match is concluded. Trundle, for instance, might quite benefit from one. But meanwhile, we have Grubs being taken by Grumpy Pants. Emil's looking to take advantage of that tempo to see if they can make a bot play, but it is warded. So we'll see. It doesn't look like the dive will be all too possible, but they might attempt it.
As top lane, once again, I mean, honestly, there's no point just reading off top lane over and over again. It's just the same shenanigans over and over again. Garen is going to go in with the Q, but bot lane, it's going to be a bit of a dive. That's going to be a nice little stun onto two members, as the Moonlight Vigil also goes down on two. That's going to be a stun right on top of the Ashe, under the tower, flashed away by the Seraphine. She will get hit with the Braum Q, and it's going to be a nice little clean dive here from the side of Knights of the round, or Knights of the second dinner.
So why was it made that to be possible is that both of the ultimates, or sorry, I guess I was wrong. I thought both the ultimates were up. Papa Skips was not level 6, so they didn't have access to the Encore for that big CC ability. That is what allowed that dive to be possible. But meanwhile, speaking of dives, Sion was looking to be about to be ulted.
Oh, there we go, Garen. Oh my God, he lives. There's no way. I thought he was gonna die.
That's so frustrating. If you're Vacant Tech, I've been there before. You're like, come on, man. Are you kidding me? But yeah, Bot Panda, Demacian Justice doesn't kill, walks back up, auto attacks, leaves, and is not punished for it. So good cross map from the side of Stun, making sure that the dive being on the dive on their bot lane is punished with a further extension of Garen's own lead. Yeah, again, that's 2-0-1 now for the Bandit on the Aphelios. That's going to be the question will be, can Bot Panda on this Garen, can Grumpy Pants on this Udyr, can basically any of the long range crowd control abilities and the rest of the comp, can they kill this Aphelios? Because if not, Bandit might just well be able to run away with the series in a very similar fashion to game 1.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, now the gold lead is pretty much dead even here. I mean, Vapor Wisp, this is the first game they've had a solid lead for themselves here. So this is very nice. They're on a very comfortable champion that they like. And I mean, Trundle, he's ahead in CS, albeit, but I mean, the Udyr is clearing pretty fast here, starting to claim these objectives. Drake has spawned in the bot end. So it is a Hextech Drake. Once again, Emil is looking for a gank in that bot side
Uh-huh.
here. So we're going to see if they
Landry's
can
is
test
purchased from
that.
Grumpy Pants.
As it's going to be a full 3v3 on the bot side. Trundle is looking a little worse for wear. Does still have that subjugate if he wants to heal himself back up. But he is below half HP now.
Here's
So going to have to
Vaporwhisp
be a
coming
little bit
down too
careful.
with Malignance. So
Oh,
there's 2 items to
Lux
none right now.
does have it there. That's going to be an arrow on top of the Trundle, and he will get taken down here. And the second Drake of the game will go over to the side of Stun Gaming, as they're going to start to look to get that pressure in that bot lane, pushing out, getting that prio as Drake gets started up by Grumpy Pants. So now it's going to be
Here's Shakespeare
Knights. They're
though.
kind of looking to contest it a little bit. They're kind of messing around a bit, but you know, you just kind of got to leave it and just go start pushing out your lanes. As second Drake of the game, Hextech Drake will get claimed here soon. Enough. It's a slight gold lead for the side of Stun. And they just pretty much completely woken up now. And it's going to be Chemtech Soul once again here.
So you may recall, I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't. Game 2, I mentioned I could predict the outcome of a fight with my eyes closed because that there's 2 members of, I believe it was Knights at the time, who had a complete item, and there was no one on stun who had an item in to contest it. Or actually, was it game 1? It was game 1. It was the Asol and the Jarvan. They had 2 items against 2 characters or 2 champs without an item, so I knew they'd win the fight. Same situation here. However, here it's the Vaporwhisp and Grumpy Pants with the Malignant
Oh,
Landry's against at the
bot
time
lane.
0 items.
That's
That means you
a
can easily
unstoppable
predict the victory.
onslaught. Scion is ganking the Seraphine here, and she will get taken down. That's a full charge decimating smash, and the kill will get donated over to the Aphelios. 3-0-1 already, up 30 CS on his lane opponent. As the Scion is going to teleport into that top side. Trundle is here, but gonna have to be really careful. That's a really strong Garen, as Trundle is going to use that movement speed to get on out of dodge there. He's going to get slowed down a bit. He's going to get hit with that ignite soon enough here, as he will have to flash over the wall. Udyr is very, very strong. Does a lot of damage. Trundle, no flash now. And that's going to be the final spark snipe there. I think that was... Oh, no, it wasn't blind, but... Wow, that was a really good snipe there. Vapor was having an excellent game so far.
Showing more of that champion mastery for sure. Also, yeah, wow, Vacant Tech threw a great Shen impression on that Scion. But yeah, what caused, right? Having to pull in your jungle, having to pull in, even your mid lane, getting some of the pressure from Vapor Wisp being able to move in an ultimate. So, all the eggs are currently in the bandit basket, right? All of Knight's resources are going into that Aphelios. So, we'll have to see how it ends up panning out for the rest of the game. But I'm glad a stun feels like the longer this series has been going on, the more they've been finding their footing.
Oh, absolutely. Like since game 2, you know, they kind of locked in. They're taking that momentum and just giving it to Knights. And right now, bot lane, I mean, it's a little rough. I mean, they couldn't really leverage that lead, but it's just a really good job from Stun. Like they're cross mapping, ensuring that they don't give away anything for free. Yeah, their bot lane's down a good bit, but Garen is very far ahead here. Looking at the leads, I mean, Aphelios is at 7,000 gold ahead. The Garen is only about 6k. So, I mean, Aphelios is overall still the beneficiary of a good bit of gold here, but Lux is going to have to be a little bit careful there, but Aphelios isn't nearby looking to get that red buff there. But, I mean, the gold lead's pretty much dead even. They got that first tower bot lane. That's the only reason why the Aphelios is so far ahead there. Lux using the flash, just barely getting out of range of that glacial fissure, as Drake spawning in about 2 minutes here, so not the worst summoner spell to blow at the time. Now Herald will spawn in 20 seconds, so for now, I mean, it's kind of like both these teams kind of looking to see if they can get kind of any sort of pick, any sort of advantage they can. Their mid lane, you can see on the mini map that Seraphine did have to use that flash there also. So Udyr, he's going to go on in there. The good little stun onto the Braum there. Nice job with the Unbreakable. So right now, I mean, both teams kind of just fighting over air. Nothing really to do. 1 Drake apiece, 3 grubs to the side of Stun, and it's first Tower Blood for the side of Knights. As Garen, I think he might look for a little Demacia Justice, as he absolutely does get that one. Solo kill once again in the top lane. Seraphine will be the first person to get picked off in the bot lane. So for now, it's going to be a 1-for-1 here, as top lane Garen should be able to get that top lane tier 1 for free. as Ash keeps on free farming in the bot lane, trying to catch up with the Aphelios.
You mentioned this Knights got first dragon every game of the series. Well, this is the first game of the series that Bob Panda is not the first member on the Rift to take out a tower. So there's something there. But that being said, it's not exactly Bob Pandas have been having a horrible game either. So we can, I suppose that's allowable. But yeah, first item completions coming on across the board. All members now except the sports having it. Emil's starting up the Rift Hero, but it looks like Stun is in a great position to test and will push it off.
She's going to hit that final spark here. Lots of damage onto the Aphelios. He'll get chunked to half HP. He does have that red buff to heal himself up a little bit. But Herald was started by Knights, but now with their Aphelios below half HP, he's going to have to reset. And now Stun will get that priority on the Herald, and they should be able to claim this one for free.
You'll notice that Braum attempted to use the Unbreakable shield to block the Lux's ultimate, but you'll notice that's a beam. You can't block that. Your ADC is still tanking the full damage of that cooldown, so yeah, a bit of an unfortunate interaction there for the side of Tiny Shoes, and one many of Braum players encountered against champions like Lux, against champions like the Senna especially, right, where every auto attack is coded that way. That can be really frustrating sometimes. Like, it's a projectile, I should be able to block it. It's not, unfortunately for you, but yeah, both teams currently posturing around the Dragon Pit. You can expect it to
This is going to be a full 5v5 team fight. Lux is the first person to get caught out there. Lots of shielding coming through, so that's going to be Garen on the flank.
Garen.
Final flash coming through. Garen will pick up that one. That's a 3-man encore. The team fight victory for the side of Stun, and they are washing this team fight. A nice little baby cage just stun up onto 3, but the decimating smash on top of the Udyr, it will not be enough, as Sion does have the flash. He's going to have to flash on out, but gets hit with the frost shot right on the tail and does still have that shield. It will pop at the last minute, but it is going to be a double kill going over to god damn Doku. Man, the quality on the stream, it just makes me mad a little bit, but it's a 4-0 for the side of Stun, and they claim the Drake and mid lane tier 1.
Yeah, man, the last couple games, Stun have just been able to find their moments in these team fights. They've been able to use their layered crowd control abilities on top of each other to lock up the key members of Knights in a way that allows them full control of these team fights. Unlike last game, however, they're well and a ways in the lead now for this early game, which makes it incredibly difficult to picture Knights finding an advantage in the series. That being said, we have not yet seen them in this position yet this series. Maybe this is what they need. Maybe they need a bit of a fire underneath them, a reminder that, you know what, this series might be slipping away from you. You need to make the difference happen the same way that Stun was able to make that very difference appear within the last game of the series.
Oh yeah, this is the first game where Stun have got a decisive lead. They're playing, a lot of these unconventional champions, but they're playing full on comfort. Like I think I said it at the beginning, before draft ended. Garen, like Bot Panda, he has to get these flanks, and he got that flank, and he absolutely obliterated the Aphelios, and it was great. So they get that kill, and up. As Jakester, he might get caught out here. He's been between a rock and a hard place. DeBear just flashes out the beat drop as Braum puts up the Unbreakable here, blocking a lot of damage there. So again, like, it's a, what is that? 5K, no, 4K, 4.5K gold lead in favor of Stun Gaming, and this is the best game that Vapor Wisp has had this entire series. 4-0-3, up 50 CS at 19.5 minutes. This is by far their best game of the series.
It has been, and you know what? That might actually be a point of concern for Stun. Again, the results of this game only matter incidentally. It does allow them to get slightly better seeding in the playoffs, but they still, at the end of the day, need to win those playoff series. And Vapor Wisp so far has been showing that their Lux is scary, which is great for Stun, but it does mean that their future opponents watching this game might have just learned about a crucial ban to locking Vapor Wisp out of a dominant position in their future games. So from Vapor Wisp, I'm really glad that they're showing that they have what it takes to dominate in their lane. And now I just need them to see, or I just need to see them do it on
Ooh.
other champions. Huge
That's a
interstellar draft.
nice little enchanted crystal
Transfer.
arrow into the mid lane. But Udyr flashing on out there. Just use the empower turtle stance as Garen gonna get put into the baby cage now. But for now, that's 2 big ultimates used already. Flash also by the Udyr, but Aphelios does not have that cleanse, so they still do have that encore. Drake spawning in 2 minutes, so right now both teams kind of just fighting over air. Ashe, she's going to get put into the baby cage there, but force a flash out of it. And no CC is landing from either side so far. Garen said, you know what, screw this. I'm going to go into the top lane. I'm going to split this game away. But I called it. Look at the build. It's the exact same build I said. Like, Garen's pretty much only built that. That's a 2-man stun with the baby cage there. At the death being smashed on top of the Ashe. She will get shut down. Lux gonna have to run away there. That's going to be the Unsealed Spellbook Exhaust there used by the Vygar. So it's a 1-0 so far, but it will not result in anything else except a good shutdown. Vygar picked up that shutdown, so that's a nice little chunk of change in his pocket now. But he's still down about 2.5k gold to the Lux. So now the gold lead is still in favor of Stun, but they did show a little signs of faltering.
Massive bounties still on the table to be picked up for the side of Knights if they're able to get that crucial fight. So they are actually only one good team fight away from flipping the gold lead, especially if Baron up. There's a lot of potential gold available to them, but they still need to be able to find that opportunity. What was a great event horizon from Jakester was able to convert into one, and did burn some crucial summoners, but it wasn't enough to get the decisive team fight that they need to fully say they're back in the driver's seat. Meanwhile, Meal getting run down, Blazing Stampede coming out to fall into the crystal arrow.
Coming. Oh my god! That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Seraphine will pick up that kill right before the crucial Drake spawn here. And now Stun Gaming, they looking to start cement themselves here as they will get soul point for the first time this game, but they're like, you know what, we don't need the Drake, it's not up yet, we're gonna go for the Baron. As they start pushing towards that Baron, Lux Vapor Wisp does have the teleport, so could look to join their team here as they're starting to burn down this Baron fairly quickly.
Back off
about 12k here now. There's no jungler for the side of Knights, so they're gonna have to be a little bit careful. That's gonna be a flash away from the Glacial Prison. Baby Cage not gonna land onto anybody yet. Seraphine gonna get the 2-man ult there, but that's a nice little snipe there with the final flash. And Sion, he's gonna get slowed down to oblivion there. Gonna be a little premature with the unstoppable onslaught. He will get taken out, and that's going to be a 2-for-1 here in favor of Stun. Trundle is here. He does have the Dead Man's Plate. He does pop the pillar to slow the Lux, but it will not amount to anything. Instead, Stun are now going to go over to the Drake now that they so rightfully deserve.
Lux ults gets a mill kill. Lux ults get bans kill. Lux ult is off cooldown. By the way. So that's the power of Malignant's Horizon Focus Lux for you. They have it again. Vapor was having an incredibly impactful performance on this Lux, and you know, while I was saying that what you want to see now from this mid laner is their ability to repeat this performance on the champions, it is worth noting that I do give a lot of respect to a player who just came out of 2 relatively rough games in a series, but is still able to perform where it matters most for their team.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, didn't really falter too much. Didn't let those first 2 games, the performances really, dash their spirit. So right now, Stun, they're 4k up. They're on soul point here. They have so much power now. Garen is up 2 levels on the side laner, and he's just spinning to win all over him. Sion is below half HP, using the shield, but the Ignite should be able to claim that one, and that's going to be another solo kill here, finishing that LDR, and he's just absolutely obliterating Vacant Tech once again here, as that's going to be a stun onto the Udyr. He's going to pop that turtle stance here, but the Primordial Burst will just be enough, and that's got big shutdown going over to the Aphelios. No jungler for the side of Stun.
So where Knights can still be looking to with hope is that where they are getting these big kills, they are going to their carries. And with the jungler dead, it's their turn to be in position to start this Baron and try and force it. node or teleport is
Oh.
available from the side of Bot Panda, so they can look
A
for
lot
it.
of damage on the Seraphine, but Braum doesn't have the shield. Trundle's below half HP, but the only encore onto one. Oh, that was really, really close. And it's going to be
Here's
Baron
Garen.
going over to the side of the Knights as Garen is here. He is on the. Oh my God, that's so much damage. Ah, she's gonna keep blasting, but Sion teleported into the wrong place as he's gonna use the unstoppable onslaught to just barely get out of dodge, and that's going to be a 2-0. But the Baron going over to the side of Knights.
At the end of the day, if you're Knights, you still do hype with that. You take that worm off the rift. You give your time for your Vigor and Affiliates to scale. But man, it does give more control of the map for.
Like what is this Ash? She does no damage. Like what is? It's crazy. She does no damage to Sion.
Where the damage is at.
Like what? Sion,
Yeah, I
he's
mean-
running 180 armor right now. Ash has
Cool.
LDR and
So-
Yuntao and does no damage.
I really guess the question is, how is Bot Panda just shredding Vacant Tech so quickly the side lane, right? Like that's wow. I guess when you do execute
does-
true damage, you can get through whatever.
So Garen E shreds 25%
shred,
armor plus 35, so that's 60% armor shred with the E, and then you're constantly autoing and critting. So
and then you have true damage ultimate and true damage ignite. But wow, what a
350
what a
plus
game.
35% missing health, true damage, plus the amp from Axiom Arcanist. The Garen
Oh,
is pretty
right.
much just he's just a cheat code. Garen is such a cheat code. Like it's so simple, yet like it's so effective. Like you can't really do anything to it. Like it's crazy. Like the Scion is pretty much like predominantly armor
we'll
plus
say,
Phoenix. But
this
mid
game you
lane,
can throw a Vigor
Seraphine,
Pager.
yep, she's dead. And she's dead. It's a little rough.
However,
Drake spawns
nothing
in
much
a
to convert.
minute
Yeah.
35, so nothing really taken.
Meanwhile, the game is rapidly progressing towards a 3-item state as we get to 30 minutes. Both AD carries having 3 items, Garen having 3 items, Lux having 3 items. So we are now solidly in the mid to late game as both teams are looking for that crucial team.
Oh, there's
fight
the
that
nice
can
little
make them more
arrow. Final. Oh my God,
comfortable.
that's so much damage. Final spark.
is
Gonna have it again in 27 seconds is crazy. 3-item Lux. Starting to build that Rabadons, I'm assuming. The Phelios blew the cleanse and still damn near died, so it's a little roughy here. And it's a 5k gold lead in favor of Stun. Drake spawning in 50 seconds here. Both teams aren't really playing towards it yet, but Stun Gaming finally going to start pushing into their own jungle and start clearing out all that vision that Knights worked so hard to get. So they're going to start clearing out the vision. Vigor does have the teleport, so if he does want to look for that flank, he can. But Udyr going to be a little bit careful. He kind of by himself a little bit here. But resets are coming through here, so this is going to be a nice little team fight as Udyr looking forward to try to look for that engage. But Ash Arrow should be up in about another 20-ish, 25 seconds here. So we're going to have those cooldowns. But Phelios going to have to be real careful now watch where he steps. He does not have that cleanse, does have the flash if he so pleases. So Braum going to get chunked a little bit there with the Empowered Phoenix Storm. But now the rest of Stun Gaming, they're going to have to walk into this river. But they immediately force back Knights. They do not want to get chunked out. That Lux hits very, very hard. Bot Panda is looking for these flanks here. Baby Cage not going to land on top of anybody as Ashe is putting down a lot of damage now. They're going to have to play over this wall. Garen said, you know what? I'm just going to take the mid lane tower. And Seraphine gets chunked to half HP with the the Dark Matter. And so now, like we said before, it's on Stun Gaming to play the range advantage. There's no real engage for the side of Knights. And Garen has this big fat flank. They're tracking him and they are really scared of what that man can do. Bot Panda is an absolute dog right now, and it's going to be a 5v5 full frontal team fight here, just like the Revolutionary War here.
But
They're
here's
both
Garen on
just staring
flank.
each other down. But now, just like the Americans, Garen is on a guerrilla warfare flank, and there's goes the Empowered Phoenix stance. Garen's gonna flash into the backline, trying to look for Aphelios. He should get taken down with the ignite, and he will get taken down last minute. That's gonna be the soul going over to the side of Stun Gaming Nebula here. They do have the Ash Arrow, and they will get the first pick onto that Trundle, but the Baby Cage will deny the rest of that engage. So it is a 1-for-1 here, but absolutely worth it with the soul getting taken.
1,000 gold over to Aphelios with the kill, the big shutdown on Bot Panda. But yeah, the you can't help but imagine the Chemtech Soul is worth far more, especially when your two main damage sources as knights are Aphelios and Vigar. Yes, the Aphelios will have the consistent DPS to work their way through a Chemtech Soul, but the extra survivability given when at low HP against a Vigar, against someone who has a very potent burst base that can only be used when your target's at low HP, that can really smart. That means that Vigar might lose their ability to actually kill with a combo on the tankier members of Stun. Obviously, you don't expect it to do much if like a Seraphine or an Ash gets caught out, but the point stands. What that Chemtech Soul means is that Knights outs to win this series are shrinking more and more to being exclusively on the shoulders of Bandit, who though has the cleanse, does not have flash up, and is playing against competition that that has 5 champions, which are incredibly difficult to play around as an AD carry.
Because what? Each Chemtech Drake gives you 6% heal shield power and 6% tenacity. So it's really nice. Seraphine, that's going to be a nice little encore onto the Vigar. Oh my god! It's just an absolute obliteration there. As, ooh, the Infernum damage almost kills the Ash also on the back end. That's a 4-item Aphelios. And he's pretty much fully stacked on that lethality and AD little stat perk there.
Look at Bot Panda.
But
He's
Bot
looking for
Panda,
an
he's
angle.
searching. He's lurking. I don't think that Scryers spotted him too, actually. So
I
Aphelios
think they
does not
know.
have flash. They're gonna have to be really careful. That's gonna be Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto the Braum here as Garen is spinning to win. The Demacian Justice will not claim that life yet as Udyr forced to flash away there. That's a nice little bind there by the Lux, but lots of low health bars, but not enough deaths here to claim them. As Stun Gaming, they went a little bit too deep there, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 so far for this fight. But Baron is up on the cards here. Garen does have that teleport. Sion does not have the unstoppable onslaught here, so can't look to engage on this Ashe. But the Ashe going to have to be really careful here. Seraphine going to get hit with the pillar, but won't really lead to too much. No extra engage, no extra follow-up. But it's still a 4.5k gold lead decisively in Stun Gaming's favor. But now, at this point, the gold lead doesn't really matter. You're in the late game. So they're going to have to start playing for these fights a little bit more now. That's going to be a nice little stun onto the Udyr, but he's a very tanky boy. As Sion, he's going to get shredded up very slowly here, trying to stall out the rest of the team. As the Baron gets down to about 7.5k HP, 6,000, 5,000, 4,500. Let's see who picks up this one. That's going to be a nice little beat drop onto the steal with... Oh my god! Final flash, final spark. It doesn't even matter what the hell it's called. As the Sion's going to go in by himself. He will sacrifice his life for the sake of the team. As the baby cage is on top of the Udyr. That's going to be a nice little arrow onto the Aphelios. He's going to get taken down. He doesn't have the cleanse. It just came up. It's a 3-0. And they have the Baron. They could look to end the game.
They absolutely could. Luxall is off cooldown already. Just off of what an impactful game for Vapor Wisp. Getting the steals, getting the picks all over the map and across the board. Stun is showing that they no longer belong at the very bottom of the standings. They can solidly make a bid for standing tall alongside these mid-ranked teams as they secure their first match win of the league.
That was an absolute crazy steal. Vapor Wisp by far. That's player of the game right there. Like by far. Like that steal on the Baron actually like 100% saved the game and allowed their team to take the victory. Like 8-0-5. What is that? 13. Was that like it's like what, 60% KP? Not too bad. 29,000 damage, but this game Vapor Wisp absolutely picked up their slack and carried their team. And then Bot Panda just balling all 3 games here. I mean, I don't think at any point he was down in any deficit. Like 35,000 damage, 9-3 and 4. I mean, Bot Panda for me, I mean, that's player of the series right there. He did really good all 3 games. And I mean, Knights, they put up a really good fight, but at the end, it just took one little fight, and that was it. Just one Baron steal by the Lux, because I think that R did like at that point it did like almost 1,200 damage. Also with the Shadow Flame proc, it just Waver was just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, though, if I'm nice, honestly, I'm looking more at the second game of the series. I mean, this game is a little more excusable, right? Like you were behind the entire series, but it's that second game that I feel is really their opportunity to fully shut down Stun's momentum before it had a chance to fully grow. So, but definitely lots of I felt like each game definitely gave different players time to shine this series, and so lots. I think this is a series that gave lots of people opportunities to demonstrate their strength, and also showed everyone that there's still room for improvement as we near playoffs.
Yeah, this is a really nice momentum swing because looking at the little sheet here, so with Stun Gaming winning, they will move up a bit. Week 6, they play Iceborne. So if they beat Iceborne, they will no longer be at the very bottom because right now, as it stands, they are still at the bottom. If they beat Iceborne, they'll move up to 6th seed. So that gives them just a little bit more of an advantage. They get to play the 3rd seed, currently High Alert Payne Pals. But I mean, right now you got 2 more weeks left until the playoffs happen, and they are riding a pretty nice little momentum swing. Because let's see, Stun Gaming they play Iceborne next week, and then they'll play Koopa Troopas Black the week after, so the last week. So right now, I mean, they're riding a really nice little victory high. They're playing some mid to bottom tier teams right now, so nothing too crazy because they already got the hard part out the way in the first couple weeks. So now, I mean, they have a good chance to kind of make this kind of underdog run through the playoffs.
Which honestly, I'd love to see. Always fun when the established narrative gets shaken up a bit, but that really depends on Sun Gaming. I still feel like I need to see a little bit more consistency from them, especially I feel like they could their drafts. And maybe this is on me. Maybe I'm not seeing the vision, but I feel like with some of their drafts, I do question some of the decisions, and I'd like to see a bit more cohesive identity come from the team because I definitely feel that when you get to those mid to late game team fights, they have it. I do feel like every member knows their roles and knows how to play around each other. But I wouldn't mind if they made it a little bit easier for themselves, right? I definitely felt like that first game in particular is one that was just so difficult to play around that Karma Israel in particular, right? So and same thing for Nice the Second Dinner. I felt had that right. Nice the Second Dinner I felt like they knew exactly what they were doing. They clearly, I feel like they do their homework when it comes to building their compositions. Um, and for them, it really just came down to a couple key points of execution. So working on their consistency there. Honestly, it almost feels like both teams could stand to learn a bit from each other, right? If they want to have a shot at contesting against the teams that are currently leading the standings.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you made so many excellent points here, and Stun Gaming, like you said, if they work on that consistency, because the game one, I mean, the draft was a little scuffed, but then game 2 and 3, I mean, they have like their crazy shenanigans, but if they keep playing with those shenanigans, they can run with it all the way up into the playoffs. So for now, it is absolute banger of a match here. I personally did not expect this to be such a banger of a matchup as it should have been. But Stun Gaming, they take that 2-1 victory over at Knights of the Second Dinner. That is the end of week 5. Tune in next Thursday, 8 p.m. EST, to watch High Alert Payne Pals versus Koopa Troopers Black. But that will be it from us on the casting desk. It is I, myself, Banana Bread XD, with my boy Senkai and our glorious producer, Cesarius. We will see y'all next week when we go into week 6 for Ember Magma.